All right, all right, all right. 102 Mobile, Miami. And my dog is sleeping. So this is my new copper pipe antenna, guys. You can see the chart right there. Let me see if I can show you the numbers. Right there. I have a 1.0 SWR. My Smith chart, it's a 47 ohms. You gotta keep in mind that, the antenna is loose. It's not mounted or anything, it's just touching ground. That's my old stainless steel mounting bracket from my first 102 whip. And this is the antenna. Pretty light, not heavy at all. I think it looks awesome. And man, oh man, this is gonna be for my Freightliner Cascadia. I'm planning to jump back into the trucking industry and I'm gonna start making some noise on the road. So I made a tuning capacitor combined with a SIG ring. I think it's called a SIG ring or a tuning ring, depending on how much out the whip is sticking out. I can play around with the ring and the capacitor. See, let me show you. Once I touch it, if I touch it with my hands, everything will move. But let me show you what happens with this. Pay attention to that, and I'm gonna move this right there. Now when I let go, see how everything changed. So now, if I move it back to where it was, more or less, I think it was there. There we go. There we go. Hands free. And right there, 49 ohms. See, it's, gotta play around, tweak it and tune it, and but I'm very happy with the way it came out. This is my third attempt. My first two attempts, I made something totally different, and I tried to make something with its own ground plane. But at the end of the day, it was working like a dipole antenna on a vertical way, and it wasn't working. I couldn't get it to tune. It was too bulky, too ugly. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna come back to some original designs, and I'm just gonna make it out of copper. It's just copper pipe, and it's not gonna swing or anything like that. It's gonna be vertical, solid, just like the one that I have in the back of my pickup truck. Man, this copper pipe antenna, I'm not giving it any maintenance or anything at all. It got, the copper got all black, but I couldn't be happier. I just couldn't be happier, man. This is a 3/8 of a wave, and this one came out to be a quarter wave. But I'm gonna be making some noise on the road, and stay tuned. I'm gonna show you how it performs once I got it on the truck. Or probably, I'll throw a coax into my center console and test it out within the next couple of days. So once again, 102 Mobile, Miami, and my dog. It's 2 in the morning, guys, and so here we are, boys, back in my truck. I'm at channel 20, and my SWR, it's a 1.0, 50 ohms, and once I get my hands closed, or if I start touching it, everything changes, obviously. So let's see what it does to the highest that I go on the band. 700 megahertz, 1.4 SWR. Not too bad at 48 ohms. And if I go to the lowest, let's go to the 26. I think I have it at what? 500. There we go, 26,500. We have 38 ohms, 1.3 SWR. Doesn't get any better than that, my friend. It really doesn't. There we go, back again to the middle of the band. Right there, 27,196. 50 ohms, 1.0 SWR. Check that out, man. I mean, come on. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hook up a little piece of coax, see if I can make any contact with the locals, because we have zero conditions. Beautiful, man, beautiful. Oh yeah, beautiful. I love it.
Okay, tranquilo, animal. See you later.
Dale, man, 73. Thank you.
Oye, ¿qué es lo que van a llevar al punto esta noche?
¿Quién va para el punto esta noche?
Pues me dijeron que Pandora iba a llevar pizza de pepperoni.
¿Con quién estoy hablando ahí? Remember that I told you that I used the heavy duty antenna mounts, the trackers heavy duty antenna mounts, and I added a stainless steel rod to make one of my first 102 whip mounts. So I chopped one off so I can save this piece for the future. And what I did is a 1-inch copper with a coupling, and I'm gonna shove this guy right there inside, and I'm gonna drill 2 holes to bolt it in and keep it secure. That way, you know. So let's get to it. A bit more. There you go, completely flush. There you go. That's a nice Corona ball. Out of a piece of an aluminum rod, the drill, and a drill tap, make thread on it. I think that I made a pretty nice Corona ball. All right, guys. These are gonna be the last readings that I do to it. And I'm very, very pleased with the results that I got. So you can see right there, my SWR, it's a 1.0. My reactance, it's a 500 positive. It's very close to X0. Smith chart, it's a 50 ohms. And the phase obviously will change as I go up and down with the channels. Now let me change the second trace and and show you the Q factor. My Q factor is 0.00534, and it really doesn't get any better than that. This was the first self-grounding design that didn't work, and I removed. This is to give you a closer view of it, and now we're gonna talk about the materials that I used and what's in it, how I did it, and some ideas that I had, and try to keep the hobby alive. Hey guys, me again. So this is the last video that I'm gonna do about this antenna, and I wanted to show you everything about it. And but before I do that, I want to make a disclaimer, very quick. I'm not an engineer, not an expert, so I'm not here to teach anybody anything. If you have any questions, if you want me to help you with anything that I can, I'll be more than happy. I'm pretty sure that out there's a lot of knowledgeable people that might teach me one or two things, and that's how I learned from them. People that answer my questions on social media, watching videos on YouTube, and there's a lot of information out there to read about antennas. You just gotta set your mind to it. My experience, it's hard to explain, but the feeling that I get when I make contacts all over the country or even internationally, only running a couple 100 watts, the feeling that I get by using something that I made rather than something that I bought off a shelf, it's a very good feeling. That's all I have to say. I'm not here to badmouth anybody, but it is what it is. Sometimes you find people out there and said, oh no, I have this great antenna, and it's a 10, 11 meters antenna, and I can use it either or. I wasn't born yesterday and grew up today, all right? If you have an antenna tuned for 10 meters, when you go back to 11 meters, your SWR is gonna go to hell. Vice versa, if you have it tuned for 11 meters and you want to go to the 10 meters, it'll work. You might be able to make contact when the conditions are rolling, but your SWR is gonna be way, way up in the sky. So, funny thing, I made all of these holes to find the best spot for the capacitor, and I did the same thing over here on the SIG ring. So, yesterday I was playing around trying to tune it again, and I had the capacitor all the way closed, and my whip was all the way in. By playing around with the SIG ring, I got it tuned to 10 meters. And man, the readings that I got were perfect. It was awesome. I got very, very happy. But, now it's tuned for the 11 meters. That's what I always, I'm roaming on 11 meters. Sometimes a little bit of a free banding, but that's about it. So, beginning with, from the bottom all the way up. You saw how I hammer in the heavy duty trucker's mount yesterday, and inside of this 3/4 inch pipe I have a 1/2 inch PVC on it, so that stainless steel rod that I had on the mount, it just slide in very tight inside of the PVC, and it also helped me to create a thicker body so I can drill and tap to make threads to all of these little bolts. This and this bolt are holding the stainless steel to the copper, making ground also. And but basically I made another hole right here. So the way that I'm gonna make chassis ground, I'm gonna use a bonding strap from here to the chassis, because I'm planning to go back into the trucking industry. And all of these newer model trucks, they're all plastic, very hard to build a ground plane. So I'm thinking of building my own ground plane inside of the hood with a lot of bonding straps. You know, those braided copper 3/4 inch or 1 inch wide bonding straps. I think that's what I'm gonna use. You can have the greatest antenna ever. If you don't have ground, it's not gonna work. My first idea with this was, it was crazy. I wanted to make a self-ground antenna. And my idea was to keep it isolated, you know, to keep the antenna isolated from the chassis. So what I did first, this wasn't here. From here, I got a lot of refrigerator lines. This one, the 1/4 inch refrigerator line, and I soldered 4 5-inch sticks, and then I went down another 30 inches. It was too bulky. The ground plane doesn't work that way. You either have to keep it a 45 degree or a 90 degree, and it had to be at least a 1/4 wave. Otherwise, I know I was not gonna work, so it didn't work. I had to chop it off and start completely new. Now this capacitor, it's about 6 inches. This is a 3/4 inch copper inside. With a piece of plastic that I found in Home Depot, I made a sleeve inside of this. And this is 1/2 inch with a lot of 1/2 inch couplings on it to create a bigger body, so I can tightly slide it into this and, you know, and create a capacitor. Right here you can see a little bit of a lump. It's because I wanted to keep this and this section as close as possible, but I didn't want it to risk if someday they will collapse and you know, make contact. So once I used the heat gun to expand the PVC and slide it into this part, I slide in an old O-ring, a rubber seal O-ring, put it inside, and then I reheat it and slide this one in. So the gap or the space in between this one and that one, it's about 1/8 of an inch. And this is solid copper wire that I also got at Home Depot. The length from here all the way to here is 26 inches. And I also made, you know, several holes, drill tap and made thread on it so I can find the best spot for the feed line. And this is a 1-inch piece of pipe that I made a sleeve, you know, to keep it isolated from the feed line or the ground, so that way, you know, you can tune it. Otherwise, it won't tune. Then again, in this area, it's the same thing. From here to here, I have another 1/2 inch PVC pipe inside, you know, to help me keep it straight when I assemble it, and to, you know, it makes me think that it's gonna last a lot longer and it's gonna be a lot stronger. I mean, it's very, very strong. You're not gonna be able to break it or anything to it. You're really gonna have to bang it against a tree or a bridge or anything like that. Otherwise, Then this is 1/4 inch refrigerator line. The length from here all the way up to here is 60 inches. This coil is 60 inches in length. And the gap that I have between this and this, it's about 3/4 inch. Then 3/4 reduced to 1. Then right here on the 3/4 reduced to half. Then right here I have another 1/2 inch solid copper rod to create a thicker body, so I can drill in top and make these 2 little screws to secure my whip. This is the bottom of a stainless steel 102 whip. I also made a watertight seal on it, and obviously the beautiful Corona ball, man. It came out awesome. The entire length from here all the way to the Corona ball is 68 inches. It's not heavy at all. It's very light, very strong. And the reason why I like to keep my antennas rigid is because when you're driving and you use if you have a very thin wave, or you're using a spring mount, when you're driving, the antenna slides, tends to bend backwards. Once the antenna moves or changes positions, all of your parameters will go to hell. Believe me, that will happen all the time. That's why, either standing somewhere or driving, I know that my antennas are rigid, vertical, and my parameters are just gonna, move a little, but they're not gonna go crazy. And another thing that I wanted to say is that, I like to encourage people into the hobby and to make something different. I really hope that you enjoyed the building of this antenna, and it doesn't hurt. Just like my videos, subscribe to the channel, and wait for me when I get into the newer models trucks that they're all plastic and hard to create a ground plane. Let's see how this thing is gonna perform. All right, so once again, 102 Mobile, Miami. I'm back quiet. 73s. There's a new video coming up of some contacts that I made on my fun trip that I did from Miami to San Francisco, California. 73s.